Alright, so I thought I'd just make a guide on how Illari should be played and a few general tips and tricks on using her. I think Illari is a lot different from some other supports because you're not considering when to use certain cooldowns like speed or anti, some of the utility other supports have. Her gameplay is very fundamental. It's aim, positioning, and just general know-how of the game, which I think is very fun because I think Overwatch fundamentally is a very fun game. It just gets ruined by some extra shit that they sprinkle in sometimes. So first things first, I would like to talk about her movement. Her outburst is very simple. Small amount of damage, pushes enemies away, moves you whatever direction you're facing. However, the difference comes in what you're doing when you pop it. If you're just standing still, you're not going to really do anything. You're just going to push stuff away, and that's kind of it. But you can strafe certain directions while the outburst is active. You can only strafe about 90 degrees one direction, and then it kind of like stomps you. But that's still more than enough to reposition yourself for just general movement or getting away from something. And I don't see a lot of Illaris using this. Just some like higher ranking Illaris. If you hold A and then pop your outburst right at the peak, you'll actually get max height, which allows you to get into a lot of different high ground positions that you would normally be able to get to. Then a very basic combo you can learn as Illari is headshot, outburst, body shot, melee. It's very simple to pull off. It can kill most heroes, and it's very good at punishing overconfident divers, specifically Genji, or that one super annoying Lucio that's just always on your ass. And the two perks I believe you should be picking are Summer Solstice and Sunburn. Summer Solstice just allows your ult to possibly bring more value. And then Sunburn's very good for punishing divers. Again, Genji, Lucio, sometimes Tracer. The only problem is that you have to be close enough. Now, I think positioning is very important for Illari. You're going to notice in some of these clips that I pull up, I'm typically on height or some place where high ground is easily available, or just any way to get out. That's just general good positioning for most heroes, so that's always something to keep in mind and learn. Just recognize the patterns of high ground, ways to get out. Health packs, you need to pay attention to health packs. I feel like it's not always something in people's minds, but if you play Genji Tracer, you should be paying attention to health packs. Easy ways to leave safely is what they are. And then your pylon should be following very similar positioning, somewhere a little higher so it can view more teammates, and also try to keep it in like a hard corner where the enemy team has to peek it in order to destroy it, because sometimes if they get a little too close, your team can easily punish that. I did forget to mention that you should be moving or breaking your pylons somewhat regularly, because if the enemy team knows where your pylon is, there's a decent chance that they're going to walk on it. And if they walk on it, they're probably going to break it. If they shoot it even once, then your cooldown is going to go from like 4 seconds to 14. And then for your stat splits, I personally try to go for 5k damage every 10k heals. That's just kind of the goal, because it always changes, depends on what your team needs. Like, sometimes you're going to be forced to have like 20k healing games, but that's just because your tank is feeding, is usually the reason you have that type of stat. But 5k damage per 10k healing is what I recommend for a lot of newer Illaris, just trying to get them to focus on damage a bit more. But you'll very often see like games where you're very even with your damage and healing ratio, like 9k damage per 10k. That's fairly normal. Now, in terms of playstyle, you're going to be playing very similar to a Baptiste and Kiriko. You're pumping out heals when necessary, but you're also getting in shots like while you're recharging your heal beam. Very similar to how Bap and Carry try to get shots in between the animations. But you're going to be putting a lot of pressure on sight lines and trying to keep the other team off certain ones. Like, you can put decent pressure against an Ashe, Soldier, Sojourn, sometimes a Widow when they're on a sight line, but it's not always the safest. Now, Illari's very good in poke comps, you know, Ashe, Cassidy, Soldier, Sigma, that sort of thing. However, she serves a very good anti-dive, you know, against Genjis and Tracers especially. She pumps out enough damage where they typically have to run or coordinate a very strong dive, which you're not going to see below, like, Diamond. For aiming tricks, honestly, I can't give you a lot. Aim is just something you learn naturally, but I can give you a aim trainer workshop code that I use fairly often. I usually use it to practice like Genji blades because there's Nano, Mercy Boost, Kitsune, etc. But it's fairly good for hit scan training too. Now on her ult. The ult is very strange because you have to be thinking about a lot of different cooldowns and a lot of different stuns. If you get stunned during this ult, you're kind of because pretty much anything can kick you out of it. Somber Hack, Orisa Spear, Pin, and then it can be eaten or blocked by a lot of different things. Orisa's Spin, Sigma Eat, Shield, Rein Shield, etc. Diva Eat is the worst one. I despise Diva Eat. Suzu. I really hate Suzu. Suzu actually ruins your entire ult as Illari. It cleanses it. So you're going to be paying attention to a lot of cooldowns, and typically you're not going to get a very big ult. You're going to get like 1 or 2 people, which is fine, which is perfectly fine. You should be going for 1 or 2 people with your ults typically as Illari, because if you live, your team gets a lot more value. Generally speaking, as Illari, the longer you're alive, the more value you're getting, because you're putting out constant damage, healing, and pressure. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is give a little live commentary on a game that I'll play. It's going to be open queue comp, just because you have to focus on, you know, managing your resources a little bit more in open queue, because you're worrying about a lot more people. No, I'm just pulling that out of my ass. I just didn't want to waste my rank. Now, you'll notice my positioning usually revolves around having a good way out that also has a way to a health back, or at least a way to cover, because I'm playing aggressive here, and that Doom, if I didn't have a way out easily, he's like could have just whipped my shit. And I also move my pylon back as soon as I can, so it can't be shot by the Orisa or Doom that were walking up just then, and then punish this Junkrat for being up there for no reason. I will be healing a bit more than I want to during this game, but that's because I have a Lucio as my second healer, so I'm forced to play main healer instead of off healer. Illari's a pretty good off healer, but she can main heal because she can pump out a good 20 or even 25k in a game. Of course, I'm putting damage where I can, but mostly I'm going to be healing, and I make a stupid mistake here and die to a rat. I hate you. Now, I do ult here in a second, but I'm waiting for a few key things. I'm waiting for this Zen trans to go away, and I'm waiting for Orisa to pop her spin, which it just comes out of cooldown right then. And I clean up the rest since Illari pumps out a lot of good damage. Now, Illari can make pretty good big plays, but I don't recommend it. I am a Masters support in a Diamond open queue lobby, so keep that in mind. So I very confidently walk up and smack the shit out of this Mercy and Orisa. Normally, I will not ever be able to do that ever in a comp game. But if you have the confidence in it, I can't stop you from going to do it. We did roll the other team this game, so I will be going over another game in a second, but I just want to use that as an example of good and bad things to do as illari, because I made stupid mistakes that I covered, and then I was just showing general purpose, you know, neutral game of illari. I'm trying to show the ins and outs of this character. But I'm also an idiot, so don't take what I say like 100%. I'm a masters, I'm not a fucking pro player. Just take what I say with a grain of salt. Are we dead ass? Now you'll notice the second I get into the point, I immediately throw my pylon into a spot the other team can't easily shoot it, but my team can easily get heals from it. That's just an important thing to keep in mind the entire game while you're playing illari, is can your pylon get shot by the other team and your team can still benefit from it. And another thing to keep in mind, if you see the other team shooting your pylon like right there, try to destroy it the second they shoot it, because chances are they're going to break it. So it's better to break it before they can, so you can get the pylon back faster. And then again, putting pressure on a sightline to try to keep this Mei off and this Moira. And of course, as illari, you're one of the better anti-dive supports. So I see this Moira, she pops fade. I just try to go chase her because she's low. She solo ulted me. Are we dead ass? Are we dead ass? And then you can see my stats here. They're pretty even. That's what you should be going for. I don't know why the resolution's so low, but like, I fucking hate Twitch. Now you can see here, obviously I have very strong control of this sight line. I'm putting up constant pressure. Illari does good damage. It's 70 per shot and 105 per headshot. So I help with this Mauga getting killed, and then, you know, putting pressure on this Moira Kiri. Moira dives me. Like, it's annoying, but it's fine. And then she gets saved by Akira. She just bagged me. She thinks shit's sweet. She thinks shit's... Hold up. I gotta get my fucking lick back. Fuck this Moira. I'm not even censoring this shit anymore. Fuck this fucking Moira. Oh, she fucking... God damn! Moderate crash out. However, when I get back, I take good high ground. You know, this is a good example of positioning. I'm on a good set of height. I have a way to get out. There's a health back right behind me. And I always have a sight line on the enemies and my team. And then right here is okay positioning. The only reason I could really get away with this is because they were already low and both their tanks don't have movement to get to me. And then I kill that Moira again. Yo, Moira! Yeah, no, watch me shit up when she try to ult me again. Screw this nice young individual. Now this is a good example of patience. I just wait out a few cooldowns and I can pop out with my ult. I didn't get it to blow up on the Zarya, but it's fine because Zarya is literally like softer than baby shit in open queue, so like I kill her anyways, it doesn't matter. Now that Moira from earlier, they thought Torb would help him. No, gone, buried, teabagged too. And guess what? I did message him after the game on Xbox. I did. You know why? Because you are a bitch. You're teabagging on Moira. On everything. I hope you... Ooh, you're lucky this is going on YouTube. I don't make this type of content normally, but if you would like to see more, let me know. I can cover more characters. The characters I'm best at and would be most qualified to cover would probably be Genji, Ashe, Cassidy, Soldier, the hit scans, you know, all that. And I could do Kiriko probably. I'm a pretty good Kiriko player too. Yeah, not to toot my own horn or anything. Anyways, like if you enjoyed, I stream everything on Twitch. It would be great if you check that out. I'm really trying to get a platform started on there. YouTube's been pretty good. TikTok's doing great too. Hope you check those out. Thank you for watching.